Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
You are listening to the Brilliance Business Show, conversations with leading experts in business. I am your host, Mark Stephen Pooler, and today we have a wonderful guest, Katherine Brooke-MacKenzie. Katherine is a colon hydrotherapist and international best-selling author. And our topic today is helping people with digestive problems regain comfort and confidence. Katherine, welcome to the Brilliance Business Show.
Thank you, Mark. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm really looking forward to a conversation with you. Before I get started, I just need to make a legal disclaimer that Katherine is not offering legal advice or legal assistance. So let's get started with the show. Katherine, can you share with our listeners a little bit about yourself and your business?
Yeah, of course, Mark. Like you said, I'm a colon hydrotherapist. Now, people might not know what that is. It's colon hydrotherapy is what used to be called colonic irrigation. And that is where we help cleanse the lower part of a person's digestive tract of waste and gas and other things for the purposes of improving their health. So that's what I do. As you say, I'm an author and also a speaker on the subject of holistic gut health. And I run a clinic in the UK. And like most alternative health practitioners, I came to this business as a result of my own personal experience because things had occurred in my earlier life, which pretty much caused me to go off the rails. And I was living a life of, it sounds exciting, but, like sex, drugs and rock and roll to cope with my emotional problems as a result of trauma when I was younger. And these choices inevitably contributed to some pretty horrible physical symptoms too, which tended to make my daily life a bit of a trial. And then one day around, I'm cutting it short, there's quite a story behind it, but it was around about 20 odd years ago, and in a drunken stupor, I literally fell down the stairs and had a bit of a wake-up call. It was a bit like an epiphany, when you hear a voice in your head that says, you need to get a grip. And it was pretty much from then on that I started to clean up my act, and my journey into the field of complementary health began. It started with me studying Traditional Five Element Acupuncture, which was absolutely amazing. And it's a beautiful lens to see the world through, particularly health. And then set up a couple of quite successful practices. But the real light bulb moment for me in terms of my own health and recovery was when I had a colonic irrigation treatment back in 2005. And it was this that introduced me to the importance of gut health. And hence, I set up the Healthy Gut Clinic, and I've been in practice ever since.
Thank you for sharing your journey, Katherine. I totally relate to you with the drink, drugs and rock and roll lifestyle. But I think we all go through those moments where it's a negative situation and that really pushes us to improve and move forward. So I really relate to that. Yeah. Now, I actually have heard a lot about what you do because a lot of celebrities like having this done, don't they, Katherine? And that brings me nicely to my next question. Who are your clients? Who do you look after as well?
As yet, I've not had any real high-level celebrities come through my doors, but there's always hope, right? There's a few. Mostly, I'm working with inverted commas, like normal people of all ages, all walks of life. Generally, our clientele are those. Excuse me, like I said, with digestive problems, like things like constipation and IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, bloating. But we also have a very high proportion of customers who understand the importance of physical cleansing and balancing their gut microbiome, and use our services as a preventative measure against ill health. So it's it's a long journey back from poor health, but it's a lot easier to maintain good health.
It's really nice that you're really supporting people to really improve the way they're feeling to a better way of living. Tell us a little bit about the ha-ha moment, Katherine, that led to the launch of your business.
To be honest, Mark, it wasn't ever really like a kind of like, whoa, aha thing about making a business from it. It just sort of grew organically. So from my own experience, which, it's no exaggeration to say that it totally changed my life. I went off to train in colonics, and most of my peer group, or friends, family, were saying, "Oh, you'll never make a go of that. You're bonkers for doing that." And I knew in my gut, inverted commas, see what I did there, that it was I think it was a thing of the future. It just made such a difference to me, and I just wanted to be able to offer that to other people, and that sort of thing, really. But the thing, I think I'm really committed to my own personal development as well as my own health, and I'm always learning new things. I've got a couple of courses coming up in the not too distant future, and what I'll do is probably bolt parts of my training, seemingly unrelated to gut stuff, but onto the business. It kind of just evolves, if you know what I mean. It just organically grows at its own pace.
I hear you, especially myself being an entrepreneur, Katherine, and sometimes the people closest to you, friends, family, they don't really support you when you have this big vision and you really want to go after the things you want to do in life. So I really understand that. What really motivates you to jump out of bed every morning?
Well, I think life, it wasn't always like this. There were times when I really, really struggled to even get out of bed. But now, life's like a great big adventure, isn't it? You never really know what's coming. And I think when you're well, when you're healthy, you can embrace everything that life throws at you. But the thing that really, really gets me, gets me excited is when you work with someone. I don't know if you've experienced this in your work, Mark, but you see them emerging, that it's a privilege of witnessing them growing. And for me, it's like providing like a clean slate, like a fresh start for a person. They get to experience themselves and their life from a completely different perspective when they've literally let go of all their, shall we say, inverted commas, rubbish.
And I would like to know what sets your business apart and what unique need are you filling for your clients?
It's a great question. I think we see, lots of the people that come to us have their own perspectives and their own beliefs about what they think it is that we do. But they tend to go away from their appointments with so much more. I find really that it's quite sad that so few people are really heard in their lives. People are not feeling listened to. Particularly with regards to their health issues, and they don't have their experience validated. People are often really confused by what they're feeling and what they're intuiting about their own health. And because they might have gone to the doctor and had medical tests done that say, well, there's nothing wrong with them, it leaves them in a really disempowered position. Like I said, they're left feeling really confused and not knowing what to do. So what we hope to do is to empower our customers by giving their experience almost like a structure and a context. And it's like we join the dots for them, give them an explanation for what they're experiencing, and then permission to believe in themselves and their ability to heal and change and turn their situations around.
And Katherine, as well, Are your clients a little bit nervous about coming to see you? Because some people don't like talking about gut health, do they? And is that a worry to some of your clients? Maybe a bit of embarrassment there?
Yeah, it's a really good point, Mark, actually. And it is one of the difficulties of trying to promote a business like this, because people do feel very privately about, well, I mean, gut health is a generic term, and I think that's a much safer subject to discuss than, say, talking about bowel habits or poo. Most people have resistance to sharing those sorts of stories and pieces of information. So it can be difficult, yeah. And my own experience, when I had my first treatment, I was absolutely terrified, to the point of having like almost an out-of-body experience. So taking care of people in that way, holding that space really safe for them, that's one of the parts of the job that's really, really important to get that right. Yeah.
And why do you feel your service is especially important in today's modern world?
Well, crikey, that's a great question, because I, in my opinion, it's never, ever been more important for people to look to their gut health than right now. About 70 to 80% of our immune system resides in our gut. So if we want to maintain resilience to, shall we say, inverted commas, certain viruses, strengthening our gut health is paramount. We're also seeing a marked increase in autoimmune disorders. I think it's like a 7% year upon year increase in things like rheumatoid arthritis. And we've got other things like fibromyalgia, types 1 and 2 diabetes. And these diseases can often have their origins in something called leaky gut syndrome, which occurs as a result of poor gut health and an unbalanced gut microbiome. And the gut has a massive bearing on mental health. And when our guts aren't happy, then we won't produce the necessary hormones and neurotransmitters required that will help us live an engaged and motivated and happy life, like hopefully free from anxiety. I mean, it has a massive influence on mental health as well.
Could you share a few details of the kind of service and products you offer?
Yeah, of course. Well, I've just mentioned the gut microbiome. I mean, I don't know if your listeners will be familiar with that term, so I'll just explain that a little bit. It's essentially the bacterial environment, microbial environment that lives within our gut and has a myriad of influences on overall health. So that's a valid point, really. You don't have to actually suffer from a gut-related problem to benefit from getting a happy, healthy gut. So we have a superb scientifically proven gut microbiome reset program, which is really changing lives for the better. And this service is something we can offer remotely, because obviously if your listeners aren't local to the clinic or they're not in the UK, then of course they're not going to be able to come and visit. But this program is something that we can offer, remotely. So that's something to say. But as you know as well, I recently released my book called Let That Go, 31 Things to Do If You Want a Better Poo, which your listeners can order on Kindle or paperback from Amazon. I hope it's an interesting read. I've had some really good feedback about it for anybody wanting to understand more about their digestion and ways to improve its function. It's got a few funny bits and bobs in it. Some pretty poignant stories as well. Yeah.
So I'll do a little disclaimer here. So audience, excuse the word, but it's for a good cause, for health. Go and get a copy of Let That Shit Go. And it's on Amazon, right, Catherine, isn't it?
Yeah, Kindle and paperback, yeah.
Now, Catherine, I know you have all sorts of client success stories. What is one that stands out to you?
Yeah, there are quite a few to choose from. But I thought I'd talk about something that's a bit more recent, a bit more relevant, really. So I had a lady recently struggling to recover from coronavirus, which she had last year. So she hadn't really pulled back to her previous level of health since having it. And she'd now been diagnosed with long COVID. So she came to me, she had a few gut problems. It had really hit her gut really hard, and she was lacking in energy, and she was getting kind of headaches. She's just lost her mojo. So she did our 21-day gut reset program and was completely blown away by the results. So she had loads more energy afterwards, better sleep, regulated digestive function, a lot more comfort in her body, and relief from random aches and pains as well that she previously couldn't really account for. And it was it was such a joy actually to see her back to her former glory, because she's quite a character, this one. Yeah, you could really see the difference, like the before and after. It was really rewarding to work with her.
I do like a success story, Katherine, and I actually saw something on the telly a while ago now about bacteria, the gut, and I was just blown away of how the gut has so much control over your overall health, and energy was another thing, and also your diet and things like this. It was so fascinating. I really enjoyed learning more about what you do, Katherine. And how do your clients typically hear about you, and are there certain life moments that usually lead to them seeking you out?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes they come to us through word of mouth referrals, like the point you made earlier about, it's a difficult business. People don't really want to talk about it. So people have a positive experience. Obviously, they share that with others. I don't think we're usually the first port of call for most people. They might have gone down the traditional route, allopathic medicine, that kind of thing. But I think people are becoming more and more tired, really, of being perpetually medicated. And I think they're looking for more natural solutions to their health problems. And I think the kind of life events, it tends to be, we tend to have like three types of customers. Ones that have got functional bowel problems, the things I've already said, like IBS, constipation, that sort of thing. And then we've got the people who look at it as a detox. So they are the ones that are using it as a preventative measure, that they're using it to promote their health so that they don't get poorly. And then we have another type, with like a bracket of people who have used it as like a threshold. It's like a before and after. So they might have gone through a significant emotional event, something like perhaps a bereavement, or, they've moved house or lost a job or something. And it's like they want to draw a line in the sand and leave that part behind and then step into a new chapter of their life. So we see people come for that reason as well.
For the benefit of our listeners out there, if there are people struggling with any of the issues that we have discussed, or you would just like to detox, as Katherine has mentioned, what is the best way for our listeners to get a hold of you, Katherine?
Well, I have a few social media presences. I'm on Facebook, at Healthy Gut Clinic, and on Instagram at The Healthy Gut Clinic. You can drop me an email to hello@thehealthygutclinic, or just visit our website, really. That's thehealthygutclinic.co.uk.
thehealthygutclinic.co.uk.
Yeah.
Katherine, thank you so much for being on the Brilliance Business Show. Is there anything we didn't cover that you would like to share?
Yeah, if I can just say one last thing, really. I know it's not an easy subject, and it's not something people want to talk about, and it's quite an unusual career that I have, but I can't stress enough how important it is that everybody has a poo at least once a day. It's so important to ensure our bodies are being relieved of our waste products, because if they're not, we're literally polluting our systems. And I use this as a metaphor, really, but imagine how your home would feel if you never took the rubbish out, and how long would it take for it to be a really inhospitable environment for you to live in. So you can see that, like, the importance there. We need to get rid of our rubbish, on all levels.
Makes total sense, Katherine.
Start at the bottom and work up, Mark.
Definitely. Katherine, thank you so much for coming on today. I've really enjoyed having a conversation with you.
Oh, thank you, Mark. It's been great. Really good. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
The pleasure's all mine. You have been listening to the Brilliance Business Show, conversations with leading experts in business.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.